It may not have affected the outcome of the 2016 election, but the Russians were able to pull off a wide-ranging, aggressive, and brazen attempt to interfere in the campaign. So can our intelligence agencies stop them from doing it again? Let's ask an old friend, former CIA director, Jim Woolsey. Jim, it's great to have you on. Thanks for being here tonight. This is wild. I mean, this indictment today was wild. I mean, they were organizing all sorts of things. They were working for that Jill Stein, trying to help her. They were anti-Trump and pro-Trump on one day after the election. What's that all about?
They want to be a force, and they want to disrupt things. They call their big overall program disinformation. And they've been doing this since the 1920s, 1930s. What's new is that they do it with cyber. But they didn't have much luck disrupting American elections back in the 1930s or 1940s. But they've been doing that to other countries all along. Ian Mihai Pacepa, the head of Romanian intelligence who defected in '79, says that there are more Russians involved in disinformation than there are in their armed forces.
How about the Chinese, Jim? What do they do to try to disrupt things? They're disrupting a lot of things around the world for us, I know that.
So far, not the same way the Russians do. But the Russians, I don't know, they Photoshop photographs of the Pope to make him look like he's saluting to a German Nazi officer. They just...
you don't think the Chinese are involved in this type of activity? Well, I mean, they have an economy that dwarfs Russia's. They're a standing army of 2.3 million people. They're militarizing space, stealing our technology. I mean, I think it's important that we stop this Russian stuff. But every time someone says Russia, 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 I say China, China, China.
Oh, you should. It's that's right. They are strategically a lot smarter. The Russians basically are like the old fellow who lived next to the Lincolns in their farm when he was a little boy. Lincoln said, the old boy used to say, I don't need much land, just what adjoins mine. That's Russia. I mean, I got some Georgia, let's take some Ukraine. That's pretty much what they do.
But they have an economy smaller than the size of France. I mean, they don't, I mean, come on. Compared to China, I mean, China's like eating our lunch on so many fronts.
Headed down. And it gives us some leverage. If we can work to get the price of oil down in the 30s, well, 40s even, we will create a very, very unhappy Putin.
But we don't want to push Russia to China, though. That's the last thing we want is a Russo-Sino alliance.
We just
correct?
want to weaken them because we can deal with them a lot better if they're weak. I was negotiating the Conventional Forces Treaty in Europe in '89 when the Berlin Wall went down. And you've never seen such nice Russians. Let me tell you, all you got to do is destroy their strategy. They're sweethearts.
But isn't Trump doing that with pushing all this domestic energy production? We are soon going to become the largest exporter of energy in the world. Isn't that a weapon against Russian expansionism?
It's good, but it's really mainly about a balance of payments. What matters more is the price. If you can get the price not up there in the 70s and 80s, but down in the 30s and 40s, and you can do it just by letting
the glut. We have a glut of energy being produced with fracking and everything else.
Yeah, that helps. But you can also, to get the price down, you can give people an incentive to have two fuels to choose from at the pump, at the filling station. And once you do that, you've got arbitrage that takes the price of oil down into the 30s or 40s. And
lots of different ways
they care
to
about that. The Russians care about that a lot.
Obama didn't do much in response to this, meddling in our election. They knew back in 2014, long before Trump got into the mix, that this was a problem. But as far as I could tell, they just allowed that Uranium One sale to go through with that CFIUS committee.
Really a bad call.
Yeah, so that helped Russia.
Sure.
So what do we do? How do we stop this in the future? Weaken them economically, and then what?
I think what we really want is to get them to start pulling in their horns and coming back out of Georgia, back out of Ukraine. We need them. We need to turn them around because they are taking over, even with their military and other inadequacies. They are taking over a lot more of Eurasia than they should, and it gives them heart as they take more and more under their wing.
Have we ever tried to meddle in other countries' elections?
Oh, probably, but it was for the good of the system in order to avoid the communists from taking over. For example, in Europe, in 47, 48, 49, the Greeks and the Italians, we
don't do that now, though? We don't mess around in other people's elections, Jim?
Only for a very good cause.
Can you do that? Do a Vine video on a former CIA director.
Only for a very good cause in the interests of democracy.
All right, thanks for being here. It's always great to see you.